जमुना तीरा बनचारी, जमुना तीरा बनचारी, जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन, जमुना तीरा बनचारी। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद। निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल, निताय गौर हरि बोल। बैक टू हरे कृष्ण।
Thank you, Mataji. Very good. Very nice. So let's recite the Mangalacharan. Who would like to start that? Ruby Mataji, would you like to?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Hare Krishna devotee, Dandavat Pranam. Yes, Prabhuji, I'll try.
Okay, yeah.
Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana-salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaham Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Uttapada Kamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavamascha Sri Rupam Shakrachatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Satvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padana Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakhanutamassa. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesa Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrisabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्यः च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद, श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी।
Thank you, Mataji. Very nice. Very good. Okay, we are in chapter 13. And we are in the middle of this verses 8 to 12. Okay. So I think before we get straight into the purport where we left off, we can read at least once. We can read 8, 9. Okay, we can read 10, 11, and 12, the verses only, and then we can read it just once. So I'll just start it. So this is verse 10, chapter 13. So Ashaktiranya Vishwangaha Putradara Grahatishu Nityam Cha Samasita Tvam Ishtanisto Paptishu. So I would like to read the next one.
I can try, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna devotee, Pranam, Hare Krishna Prabhu. Moi channana yogena bhakti abhicharini vivikto desho sevitam aratir jana samsadi. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
I can read the next one, Prabhuji.
Please, Mataji, go ahead.
आध्यात्मा ज्ञाननित्यध्वं तत्त्वज्ञानार्थदर्शनम् एतच् ज्ञानम् इति प्रोक्तं यज्ञानं यद् अतोऽनन्था.
Okay. Thank you, Mataji. So yesterday we read this 3 times, so today we'll just skip reading 3 times. And then we we read the whole translation, so there's no need to go and read the translation again. But then where we left off is okay, somewhere it says false ego. So I think we got up to this point and the absence of false ego. So this is all the knowledge that Krishna is saying. This is knowledge. All these are declared to be knowledge. And besides this, whatever there may be is ignorance. So whatever we do, everything that we think is knowledge in the material world is not considered as knowledge. Because this is the knowledge that one should have to uh, to realize the absolute truth. So this is what a devotee needs. So yesterday we went through humility, pridelessness, non-violence, tolerance, simplicity, approaching a bona fide spiritual master. We discussed that. Cleanliness, steadiness, self-control, renunciation of the objects of sense gratification. Okay, I think at this point, absence of false ego. From here, we have to finish it. So today the purport will be continuing from that point. Absence of false ego, the perception of the evil of birth, death, old age, and disease, detachment, freedom from entanglement with children, wife, home, and the rest, even-mindedness amid pleasant and unpleasant events, constant and unalloyed devotion to me, aspiring to live in a solitary place, detachment from the general mass of people, accepting the importance of self-realization and philosophical search for the absolute truth. All these are declared to be knowledge, and besides this, whatever there may be is ignorance. So now we'll continue with this. We read at least, I wouldn't say half, maybe we read close to 1/3. Okay. So from here we got to start reading. False ego. So who'd like to start?
I can start, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Hare Krishna devotees, Danatna, all Rishtrishra Prabhupada. Okay. False ego means accepting this body as oneself. When one understands that he is not his body and his spirit soul, he comes to his real ego. Ego is there. False ego is condemned, but not real ego. In the Vedic literature, Brahman, Brihad Aranakya Upanishad 1.4.10, it is said, Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahma, I am the spirit. This I am, the sense of self, also exists in the liberated stage of self-realization. This sense of I am is ego. But when the sense of I am is applied to this false body, it is false ego. When the sense of self is applied to reality, this is real ego. There are some philosophers who say we should give up our ego, but we cannot give up our ego because ego means identity. We ought, of course, to give up the false identification with the body. You want me to continue, Prabhuji, or somebody else?
I think you can read one more paragraph.
Okay, Prabhuji. One should try to understand the distress of accepting birth, death, old age, and disease. There are
descriptions of various Vedic literatures of birth. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, the world of the unborn, the child's stay in the womb of mother, its suffering, etc., are all very graphically described. It should be thoroughly understood that birth is distressful because we forget how much distress we have suffered within the womb of the mother. We do not make any solution to the repetition of birth and death. Similarly, at the time of death, there are all kinds of sufferings, and they're all also mentioned in the authoritative scriptures. These should be discussed, and as far as disease and old age are concerned, everyone gets practical experience. No one wants to be deceased, and no one wants to become old, but there is no avoiding of these. Unless we have a pessimistic view of this material life, considering the distress of birth, death, old age, and disease, there is no impetus for our making advancement in spiritual life. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Okay, thank you. So who would like to continue? Detachment.
I can read, Prabhuji.
Okay.
As for detachment from children, wife, and home, it is not meant that one should have no feelings for these. They are natural objects of affection. But when they are not favorable to spiritual progress, then one should not be attached to them. The best process for making the home pleasant is Krishna consciousness. If one is in full Krishna consciousness, he can make his home very happy, because this process of Krishna consciousness is very easy. One need only chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Accept the remnants of foodstuffs offered to Krishna. Have some discussion on books like Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, and engage oneself in deity worship. These four things will make one happy. One should train the members of his family in this way. The family members can sit down morning and evening and chant together Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. If one can mold his family life in this way to develop Krishna consciousness, following these four principles, then there is no need to change from family life to renounced life. But if it is not congenial, not favorable for spiritual advancement, then family life should be abandoned. One must sacrifice everything to realize or serve Krishna, just as Arjun did. Arjun did not want to kill his family members, but when he understood that these family members were impediments to his Krishna realization, he accepted the instruction of Krishna and fought and killed them. In all cases, one should be detached from the happiness and distress of family life, because in this world, one can never be fully happy or fully miserable. Back to Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, okay. Who would like to continue next?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah, please, Marvin.
Happiness and distress are concomitant factors of material life. One should learn to tolerate, as advised in Bhagavad Gita. One can never restrict the coming and going of happiness and distress. So one should be detached from the materialistic way of life and be automatically equipped in both cases. Generally, when we get something desirable, we are very happy, and when we get something undesirable, we are distressed. But if we are actually in the spiritual position These things will not agitate us. To reach that stage, we have to practice unbreakable devotional service. Devotional service to Krishna without deviation means engaging oneself in the 9 process of devotional service: chanting, hearing, worshipping, offering respect, etc. As described in the last verse of the 9th chapter, that process should be followed. Back to you, Prabhuji.
Okay. Hmm. So let's see who else is there.
I can read, Prabhuji.
Yeah, please, Mataji, go ahead.
Pranam all glories to Srila Prabhupada, purport by Srila Prabhupada. Naturally, when one is adapted to the spiritual way of life, he will not want to mix with materialistic men. That would go against his grain. One may test himself by seeing how far he is inclined to live in a solitary place without unwanted association. Naturally, a devotee has no taste for unnecessary sporting or cinema going or enjoying some social function because he misunderstands that these are simply a waste of time. There are many research scholars and philosophers who study sex life or some other subject, but according to Bhagavad Gita, such research work and philosophical speculation have no value. That is more or less nonsensical. According to Bhagavad Gita, one should make research by philosophical discretion into the nature of the soul. One should make research to understand the self that is recommended here. Should I read
Think you can, okay, let's see.
if anyone wants to read? Kush Prabhuji.
Yeah, I
Okay,
can
yeah.
read.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm here.
As far as self-realization is concerned, it is clearly stated here that Bhakti Yoga is especially practical. As soon as there is a question of devotion, one must consider the relationship between the supersoul and the individual soul. The individual soul and the supersoul cannot be one, at least not in the Bhakti conception, the devotional conception of life. This service of the individual soul to the Supreme Soul is eternal, Nityam, as it is clearly stated. So bhakti or devotional service is eternal. One should be established in that philosophical conviction.
I think you can, let's see how much there is. Okay. You can read the next paragraph also.
In the Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.1.1, this is explained. Vadanti tattva vidas tattvam yaj jnanam advayam. Those who are actually knowers of the absolute truth know that the self is realized in 3 different phases as Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. Bhagavan is the last word in the realization of the absolute truth. Therefore, one should reach up to that platform of understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead and thus engage in the devotional service of the Lord. That is the perfection of knowledge.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji. So the last part, Preeti Mataji, or your
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Beginning from practicing humility up to the point of realization of the Supreme Truth, the absolute personality of Godhead. This process is just like a staircase, beginning from the ground floor and going up to the top floor. Now, on this staircase, there are so many people who have reached the first floor, the second or the third floor, etc. But unless one reaches the top floor, which is the understanding of Krishna, he is at the lower stage of knowledge. If anyone wants to compete with God and at the same time make advancement in spiritual knowledge, he will be frustrated. It is clearly stated that without humility, understanding is not truly possible. To think oneself God is most puffed up. Although the living entity is always being kicked by the stringent laws of material nature, he still thinks I am God because of ignorance. The beginning of knowledge, therefore, is amanitva, humility. One should be humble and know that he is the subordinate to the Supreme Lord. Due to the rebellion against Supreme Lord, one becomes subordinate to the material nature. One must know and be convinced of this truth.
Okay,
Hare
thank you,
Krishna.
Mother. So let's go back to false ego. So, Subal Prabhu, you want to summarize the portion you read?
Sure, Prabhuji. Yeah, here Prabhupada says that false ego, is like accepting the body. Ego itself is not bad, but false ego is bad. Ego means actually identifying ourselves. We have to identify ourselves as a soul. But if we identify as a body, then it is also false ego. So that's why, it is said that Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman, I am spirit. So that's how we have to identify ourselves. Because we are part and parcel of Lord Krishna, and we can see that how one should try to understand, by accepting, when we accept this Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi, birth, death, old age, and disease, then we can think that we are actually not this body, because we get a new birth every time, as we discussed recently in our Ruby Mataji home, and Prabhuji described how our soul transfers from one body to another body, and we all actually faced that issue hundreds and thousands of times. We have taken this birth, but now we have got this opportunity of Krishna consciousness, and we have to follow this process and end this cycle of birth and death, because it is actually a lot of suffering when we are in the womb of our mother, with all the just imagining that stage. We are in a bowl of kind of water. We are vomiting, excreting, everything over there for almost 9 months. And at that time, it is said that we all pray to Lord Krishna, Lord Vishnu, that please, save us, free me. I will make sure that I will try to take the bhakti path and end this. But once we enter into this material life, this then we kind of forget, and we continue our like studies, old age, childhood, marriage, old age, and all. But now that having come to this Krishna consciousness, without the mercy of Lord Krishna or the devotees, we will not get this opportunity. So that's why we have to start discussing these aspects, and try to learn as much as possible, and try to make spiritual advancement. That's my understanding, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much. So you summarized everything very well, this part. And false ego, uh, 99.99% of the people in this world, they don't even recognize what spirit soul is. They know that there is a soul, or they'll use the word soul, but still they're constantly associating with our body. And as a result of that, the materially also we keep suffering. But once we know this truth, uh, we 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 can at least understand that all the suffering that the material world, because we are trying to attach to the body, that suffering will bring us sometimes happiness, sometimes distress, and that cycle just goes on and on. So uh, we should this is a very important part of this particular verse, understanding what false ego is and what real ego is. Real ego is understanding the Supreme and offering service to the Supreme. That is a real constitutional position. We are part and parcel of the Supreme. So we need to understand that and not be consumed by the body itself. Of course, we have got to take care of our body. We have got to take care of body so that we have a pure mind, and then we get into spiritual service. So it is important to take care of our body. And even Prabhupada himself mentioned that taking care of the body is important. So we cannot do what people in the previous yugas did, some of them with so much penance that they paid little attention to their bodies. For them, the devotion was so great. Hiranyakashipu was like that, but for all the wrong reasons. So anyway, and as far as uh, and the other thing is that uh, birth, death, old age, and disease, these are inevitable. These are going to come to everyone, and it's better. One should try to, if you want to get out of that cycle, as Shival Prabhu said, then really we should take up the spiritual activities, the Krishna consciousness, so that we divert our mind by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra to the service of Krishna. So I think Preeti Mataji had a question. Can you wait till the end, or do you want?
I can wait. So.
Is it related to this part?
Yeah. I mean,
okay.
I have a question like why that being in the womb is considered as like suffering.
Yeah, this is I think we do when you're a child you don't know, but it is known that the womb when the child is in the womb, he is going through 9 months of living in a very cramped space, and he's actually uh, uh, swimming in like a place of where he has to the urine, uh, his excrement, all these things. So it's not a comfortable situation at all. So that's why when the child comes out of the womb, he immediately cries. Uh, in a way, because now he's come out of a totally different atmosphere into the outside atmosphere. Others can comment on this if anyone else.
Prabhuji, you're perfectly right. On the top, if mother eats any spicy food or any pungent food, that also burns the baby's skin, the soft skin. So this is a hellish position actually, and crumbling position, but we forget. And as we keep forgetting for millions of births, still we don't know our real identity, so we also forget that suffering. Like even in this material world, 10 years back, what happened, I forgot. Hardly remember or anything. So it's a very, in Bhagavatam, vividly explains this. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you, Prabhu. So within the womb, the child is so innocent that he's actually praying to Krishna. And Subal Prabhu said that. And but once we come out, we have completely forgotten about that. We are lost in the material world, and then we have to go through everything again to understand Krishna, which is what we are all trying to do.
Understood. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay, thank you, Raj. Let's see who read next after this. Is it Baldev Seva Prabhu?
Yeah, Prabhuji. So
Okay, you.
about detachment, so Prabhupada clearly says that if our family members are Krishna conscious family, so there is no need to be detached, no need to be taking Banaprastha in Kali Yuga. Even if in Kali Yuga, actually, Banaprastha sannyas is prohibited. So only you see some senior devotees of Maharaj also takes Banaprastha sannyas. Most of us is actually a Grihastha. Even the Chaitanya Charitamrita, everyone, to Nityananda Prabhu, Panchatattva, all are married person. So, but if family environment is not congenial for Krishna consciousness, and we fail to make them Krishna consciousness, then we should leave. And Prabhupada by himself showed this example. He tried his best to make Krishna consciousness his wife and kids, but he failed. So he left home, and then he took sannyas and came to USA. Back to Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Okay, thank you. So this part is, as Prabhuji was saying, it's actually a very important part. Prabhupada is not advocating detachment from children or wife or home. So what he's saying is that as long as we set up a home so that we practice Krishna consciousness, where we teach the children, as many of you, ISKCON Tampa are doing, and so that the family can together in the morning and evening recite the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and read books like, of course, eat the prasadam, that's the remnants of food offered to Krishna, and read books like the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, and children have children's versions of these books where they can be taught at a young age to recite the verses and get stories from the Bhagavatam and so on. So the four things here: chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, uh, taking prasadam, reading the scriptures, and doing deity worship. So these four things, if the family is doing it on a regular basis, then then those are the people you want to be attached to. Actually, there's no need for any detachment. The detachment will happen when, for whatever reason, uh, family members really don't care about what you're doing, and so they are in a way, as saying in the purport here, they're impediments to your progress in the path of spiritual Krishna realization. So in that case, in uh, uh, in that unfortunate case, then people have to separate, and it's an extreme position, and hopefully it does not happen, and uh, everyone can cultivate this knowledge of Krishna consciousness within the family members and live in a family like that is always happy because the children also begin to understand slowly what it's all about, and uh, then they also progress, and the whole family progresses together. Okay, the next part. Baswati Mataji, did you read this?
Ruby Mata.
Mas, yes, Mataji. Yes, Prabhuji, I read.
Oh, Ruby Mataji, please go ahead if you want to. Would like to say.
Yes, Prabhuji. So in this paragraph, it is mentioned that one devotee should must be like in same condition in happiness and like whenever something is going favorable to his to him, then he should not much more happy, or when the thing is not favorable to him, he should not be so much distressed. As in Bhagavad Gita, it is also mentioned in one verse like uh, Sukhesu Uddvignam Mana Dukhesu Vigata Spruha. Like means in every stage he should be in the same condition, and also means how we can reach in this stage. If one is practicing the bhakti very sincerely, then slowly he can reach on this position. And also we should practice the devotional service like chanting, hearing, and also hearing with the association of devotees like we are doing now, and also worshiping the deities, and cooking and offering bhoga to the Supreme Lord, and take the prasadam. This is like kind of, as we know, the Navadha Bhakti. So if we are practicing these, then we can reach this stage, Prabhuji. Please, Prabhuji, add something.
Thank you, Mataji. Very nice. So I think we have been seeing this about happiness and distress. We have seen this in previous verses also. And the material world has been described as dukkhalayam, ashashvatam, misery and temporary. And so we are going to have momentary periods of happiness, and also that will be followed by some distress. So these are factors that affect our material life, and there is no way of getting around it. It can be the weather, it can be anything. It can be a sudden problem that comes in our family, and we have to drop everything and attend to that. So, uh, uh, so here Prabhupada is saying that these are all these are all we have to balance, be equipoised in both cases, and at least I find it that it's not easy. It's easier to say that, but when something happens, something that requires immediate attention, then you put everything else aside and come back to this. So this only way, as Mataji was saying, is to keep practicing our devotional service, and we do that by chanting and hearing, worshipping, offering respect, different processes of the devotional service. And we do the chanting and so on, starting early in the morning. And the reason for starting early in the morning, one thing is Brahma Muhurta, and the other thing is that during the day, all the material uh, problems, whatever they are, will start coming. So that's the only quiet period we have early in the morning. So we try to do as much as we can, as best as you can, for your ability, and whether it's however rounds you do, uh, and at least that'll set the tone for the rest of the day. And at least we have started that way, because the rest of the day we don't know how the material life is going to start affecting us. Uh, so the only way is, the devotional service, associating with devotees, uh, chanting, and so on, so that our mind at least is absorbed in spiritual life, at least some portion of the day, and then we can go on with our material activities. Okay, so I think Vasudhi Mataji, did you read from here?
Prabhuji, I read that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Oh,
Very nicely
yeah.
you will explain the points. So here in this chapter 13th, 8 to 12 verse, as we discussed, it's about the knowledge, knowing the supreme truth, and knowing that we are the soul, not the body. So this bodily conception and how we can get that knowledge of the temporary body, and what is our position, and what we should what we should do and to become a devotee. That's what Prabhupada in this purport is explained so nicely. And when a person becomes advanced in spiritual path, then he or she does not need to mingle with the materialistic men, means who has lot of material opulences and talking lot about materialistic stuffs. So it's better for a devotee not to mingle with them. And that's what Prabhupada is emphasizing in this paragraph. And also he is telling that it's better to not to go to the solitary place rather getting unwanted association, because it's Prabhupada in his quote, he clearly said that Maya is very strong. So if someone does not take proper care, then Maya can, and Prabhupada in Bengali he says Maya jhapotia dhare, means Maya will catch that person. So that's why it's fall down is very easy also when someone becomes a devotee. So it's very important for us to step up to the ladder of bhakti, but also like very very careful about not to step down with association of the materialistic person, or taking association which will not conducive for bhakti. It's very important. So that's Prabhupada is explaining here, not to go to cinema or other sporting activities or other activities, not only it's not only the cinema or other, but which is not pleasing Krishna. So we have to also keep this in mind, that the activities what I'm doing, whether is it pleasing Krishna, or whether Krishna is there on that activities. I have to judge that before going or participating to that activities. Sometimes we do some activities which please ourselves rather pleasing Krishna. Sometimes it's so I have to be careful like what I am participating or taking part, because that will not help in progressing in bhakti. So that's what Prabhupada is warning us here. And also Prabhupada is telling about the research work, this philosophical speculation, it's not good. So Prabhupada is telling just to follow the acharyas, follow Shastra, what Shastra is telling, and try to understand self. Self means try to understand who we are, what is our constitutional position. Our constitutional position is that we are the servant of Lord Krishna, and our identity is also we are the soul, not the body, and our only service is to please Krishna and overcome this forgetfulness and build relationship with Guru Acharyas and finally with Lord Krishna. Back to you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. You summarized it very nicely. So, so living in a solitary place doesn't mean that we are living under a tree or something. It means that we don't attach to the people who are involved in mundane materialistic activities. We associate as far as possible with only the devotees, and we get away from those who are totally materialistic, because that discussion that we have with the materialistic people is not knowledge. Krishna clearly says that in the beginning of the translation, that discussion is total ignorance, and it won't help us at all in realizing the absolute truth. So you have to keep that to a minimum. We have no choice. We are going to encounter at work and so on, but that's okay. We have to do our work also, and uh, but at the center of it, as we have read before, is always being Krishna is always in our heart and our minds. So uh, it's necessary for us to do the work every day and to make a living so that we can continue to lead a Krishna conscious life. And then, yeah, I think So next, I think, let's see. Yeah. I think Kush Modi, Prabhuji, you think you read the rest of it? I mean, 2.2. You want to say
Yeah,
anything on?
I think if anyone else can explain it, because I'm still
Oh,
young, I'm very hard for me to
okay,
understand these things, concepts.
okay, okay, yes. All right. So I think here Prabhupada is talking about self-realization. So self-realization, as it is explained here, is knowing the soul and the super soul, and knowing who we are, and that we are the eternal servants. And okay, so the soul is an individual. In each of our bodies, we have our soul. Uh, but then we have also the super soul, which is the Paramatma, and he is there in everyone's heart. He's all pervading, and he's there in everyone's heart. So we need to understand that uh, our soul is like a drop in the ocean, and the Paramatma is like the ocean. So he's all pervading. He's in everyone's heart, and he's also in it's in the smallest atom. The whole material creation, he's there. So he's there in everyone's heart, and in all living entities, not just human beings, but all living entities, animals, uh, birds, etc., etc. And the other thing that we should know is that uh, in each body we have the soul and the super soul. So we have heard this analogy before that it's like two birds sitting on a branch of a tree, where one bird is the soul and the other bird is the super soul. And the super soul is just watching the activities of the Jivatma. And while the Jivatma is and goes about its own activities, the super soul is just an observer. He is giving you permission. He's not going to come in your way uh, of any of the activities, it's your karma, whether you do something that's good or something that's bad, he's not going to stand in your way. So he's given you that liberty. Now, the super soul, and it's one other thing here. This paragraph it explains uh, that people who know the absolute truth, that there are three parts uh, to the realization of Bhagavan. One is uh, Brahman, the other is Paramatma, and the third is Bhagavan. So Bhagavan is the absolute truth, and that's what uh, people in Krishna consciousness know what Bhagavan is. Now, as far as Brahman is concerned, it is the uh, uh, effulgence of the Supreme Lord, or the Brahma Jyoti as it is called. It's equivalent of having the sun and the sun rays diffuse everywhere. That is Brahman. And if you go closer to the sun, uh, and if you like the sun's rim, for instance, is equivalent to the Paramatma. And if you can get to the core of the sun, then that would be the Bhagavan. So, uh, so to realize the absolute truth at the best is to know who Bhagavan is. And then, but knowing Bhagavan and Paramatma, I'm sorry, knowing Brahman and Paramatma is also okay to understand those concepts. And then once we understand all three, then we have a better knowledge of what devotional service is. People in Krishna consciousness believe in or understand and the Shyam Sundar form of Krishna, the two-handed form, who is also Bhagwan, and he is in the Goloka of Vrindavan. Preeti Mataji, you want to say anything? I don't know.
Yeah, Prabhuji. So from being humble to realize the supreme truth that God is the topmost, and then it's like a staircase from going from ground floor to the top floor, but it is like reaching the top floor is the actual stage, but in between also will not be considered. It is considered as lowest stage of knowledge. And then we should not think like we are God. We should be humble and get into the God's way, and like that is the truth. But here I have a doubt, Prabhuji. There is a
Yeah,
line
go.
like, if anyone wants to compete with God and at the same time make advancement in spiritual knowledge, he will be frustrated. What is the meaning
Yeah.
of this?
Yeah. Okay. So I'll try and explain that. What happens is in the material world, some people are so uh, engulfed in their material wealth, for instance. They think they have all the power. Hiranyakashipu, for instance, he thought he was God, and uh, he started controlling everything, and he ruled the three lokas. Uh, and then only when Prahlad Maharaj uh, came and preached to him, and even then, of course, he didn't realize. And then, but then when uh, 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 when Lord Narasimhadev came out of the pillar uh, after Prahlad Maharaj told him that he is everywhere, and he met his punishment. But till then, he was actually thought he was God. And the same thing with Ravana, for instance. So I think this what it is saying is that people who are totally uh, uh, consumed by their wealth, uh, millionaires and billionaires and so on, they are so consumed by their wealth that in their mind they think they are God. They think that they can do anything because they have the wealth. But what they realize is that wealth is nothing. It will go. When you're gone, the wealth is gone. Okay, you're just going to leave all that behind. So that's why it's important to understand this and show our humility. So once we show our humility and understand all this, then we become really humble that at the end of our life, we're not going to take anything with us. So just as we came empty, we'll go back empty. So that's my take. If anyone else wants to add, please go ahead.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
All right.
Very nicely
Yeah.
explained. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Okay. All right. So I think discuss this whole verse now, and from tomorrow we'll go on with the next verse, and Krishna will discuss. I mean, with talk about the object of the knowledge, and Bhaswati Mataji will be doing that tomorrow. So we'll conclude here today. So Vancha Kalpatarupyascha Kripa Sindhubhyo eva cha Patitara Nam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Raghu Prabhu ki jai, Sri
Dandavat pranam.
Jai.